Hello? Anybody in the stream yet? Well, I am now live. So, anyways, hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Hold on, let me get my epic pen up. So, hello, everyone. How are you all doing today? Hope you all are doing well. So, as we can see, we now have Tropical Storm Marco. Yesterday when I was live, we had this as Tropical Depression 11, but now it is Tropical Storm Marco. Still have Tropical Storm Laura right now brewing out in the Atlantic over near Puerto Rico. It's done a lot of stuff to Puerto Rico, so all praise is on Puerto Rico at the moment. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the coverage now. First off, we are going to actually start with Tropical Storm Marco because that is the one that will be closing up on Louisiana first. So let's go ahead and take a look at the wind probabilities. And as we can see, we do have some tropical storm force wind chances all in here. Some high tropical storm force wind chances. All in the reds and, of course, in the purple there, which is actually 90% chance for tropical storm force winds. And there's still a chance in all the greens as well. So, something to keep in mind. So, so yeah, again, the highest chances are in the reds and actually in kind of the gold here. That's mainly who will be seeing the tropical storm force winds in the storm. 50 knot wind probability, 50 mile an hour winds. We do see quite a bit of chances right on the edge of Louisiana right here. So something to look out for. New Orleans will be seeing some large impacts from this, and it is a major city, so let's actually go ahead and take a look at the cone path. And as we can see, we do have it strengthening into a hurricane very soon. Hurricane watches and tropical storm watches are in effect right now on the coast of Louisiana. New Orleans, the whole area there, is in a hurricane watch, and there have been some storm surge watches as well issued for the area because storm surge it is potentially going to happen. So Speaking of that, actually, the arrival time. I'll go ahead and say the arrival time. So, this thing is projected to make landfall in Louisiana at 1 p.m. Monday. So Monday is when it does make landfall, and it's going to be a hurricane. But the thing is, wind isn't the only issue. Yet again, storm surge, major issue. Rainfall, another major issue. Flooding. Those are some big things. And speaking of flooding, let's actually go and take a look at the rainfall potential. Now, as we can see, we have some big rainfall potentials all up in through here. 4 inches of rain in the yellows, 6 in the orange, but that is not over land. We do see some yellows on land there near New Orleans. 2 inches of rain projected to fall in the dark green, and that is well over land. So yet again, flooding, big concern. 1 inch of rain, that's still quite a bit. So flash flood potential, we're seeing a slight 10% risk of flash flooding. Again, well, actually I didn't say it, but these could change before they make landfall, so that's something to keep updated with, is model changes, because these can change. So we do have a slight for flash flooding within the next 3 days, and this is where it's going to be making the landfall on Monday as a hurricane. So in a slight, that's a flash flood potential. Just around that, we do have a marginal 5%, which is also, well, in through here, there is also a potential for flash flooding as well. I mean, it's a marginal risk for flash flooding. So, this is actually through the next 3 days. So, peak surge. Storm surge is a very dangerous cause from hurricanes, because basically what it is, I've said it a bunch of times, it's pretty much rushing water going onshore, and it can be how many feet. Here we're seeing 2 to 4 feet, or 2 to 4 feet of storm surge within here through the Louisiana coast. And then the eastern part of the Louisiana coast, we're seeing 3 to 5 feet storm surge. Same with the Mississippi and Alabama coast. So pretty much the path is going to do something like this. It's going to kind of go up into the eastern coast here of Louisiana. Mississippi and Alabama could see some large effects from this too on Monday. So warnings. We are seeing. Don't know if I showed this, but if I showed it before, I'll just show it again, just to keep you guys up to date with the alerts. Hurricane watch in effect for the Louisiana and Mississippi coast, and for Alabama coast, there's a tropical storm watch. Basically, what this means is that there's a potential for tropical storm force winds or hurricane force winds within the amount of time. So, Fish Gang, hello Fish Gang, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. If you are, great to hear. Very nice to hear that you're doing great. But anyways, tropical storm warning for the western tip of Cuba. So that means that they will be seeing tropical storm force winds from Marco. Yet again, hurricane watch means that there's a potential for hurricane force winds from the storm, and tropical storm watch means that there could be potential for tropical storm force winds. So that's what that means. They could get upgraded to warnings potentially by tomorrow, so that's something to keep up to date with. Tropical storm Marco, that is what we are dealing with at the moment for the Gulf Coast. And then behind it, unfortunately, we will have tropical storm Laura. So very unfortunate to see that they will be getting back-to-back hurricanes. So speaking of Laura, let's actually get to Laura. Right now it is affecting Puerto Rico and the Caribbean, some of the Caribbean islands. The warnings here, we are seeing tropical storm warnings for much of the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba, all in a tropical storm warning. Bahamas, parts of Bahamas is in a tropical storm watch. And the Florida Keys is also in a tropical storm watch from Laura. And again, yes, 2 days later, we will be seeing, well, 2 days apart, we're pretty much a day apart, Louisiana is going to get another landfall. And it's pretty much almost the same area where Marco makes landfall. So this is saying to be a hurricane landfall, and then quickly weakening into a depression. So and that is pretty much by 24 hours after it hits. So wind speed probabilities, they're seeing very high tropical storm force wind probabilities for a bunch of the Caribbean here. But the thing is, it could change as it gets closer and closer to the Gulf of Mexico. So something to keep in mind. 50-knot wind, 58-mile-an-hour wind probability. We are seeing much of potential for Laura at the moment, but things could change when it gets to the Gulf of Mexico. So hurricane wind probabilities, nothing from Laura as we can see yet. This is from Marco, by the way, so hope that does not confuse you. But this is we aren't seeing anything from Laura on hurricane wind speed probabilities yet. But that could show up pretty soon. So that is something to really keep in mind for Laura. So, any of you guys watching this in the path of these storms, please stay safe. And the thing is, evacuate if you're told to do so. There's a reason why they tell you to evacuate. And, you know, if they tell you to evacuate, please get out because there's a reason why. They know um, what they're saying about it. So and they do these evacuations for a reason. It's because there's danger. Kind of obvious there, but there's some sort of huge danger to the point where you need to get out of the area. So, but anyways, prayers to anyone in Louisiana, and just in the Gulf Coast in general, because things could really change. Um, we're more positive that it's not gonna really do any too much to Western Florida. So, and that is because of the high pressure system that we have right now brewing in the Atlantic. Let's actually take a look at that now. Future forecast models. So here's a GFS model. As we can see, there is Marco and there's Laura. Right now Marco does look to be a bit stronger, but we are seeing more positivity with Laura. But the thing is, why it's being pushed so far west is because of the high pressure that we have right here. So basically, it's just going to ride all along the thing. It is far out in the Atlantic, but we do see another high pressure forming right there off the east coast of the United States. So this is not, well, this means that it's not going to affect the east coast. So good news to the east coast because they just had Isaias. So, and hopefully, again, hopefully we don't see another one go up the east coast, but it's not a guarantee. Don't take it as a guarantee because it's not 100%. It's still possible that another tropical system could develop and go up the east coast like Isaias did. Well, I shouldn't say like it, but it could affect the east coast. Let's say that, just to be more safe. But yes, the high pressure, it pretty much just keeps expanding east and east, and then it keeps moving, or sorry, not east and east, west, and it keeps moving west, and that's pretty much what pushes this thing westward. And it basically rides all along the high pressure system. So as we can see here, here's something kind of interesting. Okay. So of course, yes, there's Marco. Does make landfall as a hurricane there with 999 millibars. That's what we're seeing from the GFS. But there's Laura, and we are seeing some pretty low millibar rates, or a pretty low pressure with this storm, and that's a concern because that does mean that it could become a major hurricane. Not a guarantee, but it's possible. And another thing is, the sea surface temperatures are insanely warm. Hot tub warm. 88 to 90 degrees. So something to really keep in mind is the sea surface temperatures. Warmer sea surface temperatures can really help these storms really develop. So something to keep in mind there. Yes, again, potential major hurricane striking Louisiana, but it's not 100% a guarantee. Still far out. August 27th is when this is when this is reading it. So, anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the satellite imagery of Laura. As we can see here, we got an impressive look to this thing a little bit. But it's gonna slowly sustain itself as it goes up the Caribbean, and then once it makes its way to the Gulf of Mexico, things could really develop for this. So, this is Laura. It is right now affecting Puerto Rico. There is quite a lot of flash flood warnings issued for Puerto Rico at this time. But we do have that closed center, as we can see. So, and that's why it's a tropical storm. If it didn't have a closed center, it wouldn't be tropical, or it wouldn't be a tropical storm anymore. Well, it wouldn't be classified as a tropical storm. This is Laura. This is for Laura. And yes, a little concerning seeing what we're seeing right now on the GFS model. Yeah. But it is quite possible that Marco will strengthen into a Cat 1 hurricane before Marco does. I'm just going to take a look at Windy here. And as we're seeing, here is Laura, here is Marco, both churning to the northwest. Rest in peace, California. Yeah, those wildfires. They are seeing a lot of wildfires, so very unfortunate for them. Prayers for them as well in California. Anyways, Marco, it is to turn to the northwest and then potentially, or northwest, and then make landfall in Louisiana by Monday. And then Laura will come up behind it and make landfall in Louisiana as well, just basically 2 days later. So, very unfortunate for that part. Wind. We're seeing some fairly decent wind gusts for this thing. The 24th, Monday, is when it does make landfall in Louisiana. So, and yeah, pretty relatively really strong winds actually. This is gusting at around 108, and that's the gusts. But the wind is saying it's around 50 miles an hour. So that is tropical storm force winds. But here it is saying nearly a very low range, category 1. So, and that's right, like that's really close to it making landfall in Louisiana. Wind accumulation Here's the wind accumulation, of course. Here's the path of it. It just tracks up, and then looks like the worst winds are right on the coast of Louisiana, as we're seeing there. Rain accumulations very high. Flash flooding is very potential from this storm. And yes, I did see that New Orleans is below sea level, so that is another thing that we need to keep in mind. New Orleans is below sea level, so that'll really make it easy for the city to flood. Because of these storms close to each other, it could form another Fujiwara effect if it gets close enough. Fujiwara effect, yes. I should probably discuss about that. No, it is not them combining and then making one big storm. No, that's not how it works. So basically what this is, they basically come close to each other and then they kind of rotate around each other. So that's what the Fujiwara effect is. So hope you guys do understand what it means. As I said again, it is not them combining to make a monster storm. It is not. So, good thing you did say that, Fish King. Really do appreciate that. Good thing I did discuss about that. So, but anyways, again, Marco, I did say this in the last stream. Marco, we are more confident with its path than we are with Laura. With it making landfall, because it is closer to making landfall than Laura. Laura's still kind of far out from making landfall in the Louisiana, so anyways, but it is potential that Laura will make landfall in somewhere in the Gulf Coast. It's gonna make landfall somewhere in the Gulf Coast, but we're still 100% aware. But with the high pressure system, we are feeling more confident. It is going to be more west, so it may not affect the west coast of Florida. But again, don't take that as a guarantee, because models can change, and it could say that it's gonna just ride up the coast. I'm not really too sure about that, but probably closest to the Panhandle, to the Panhandle is probably where it could affect mostly. But the west coast of Florida, they could probably still see some effects from this thing, but from pretty much the outer rain bands. So that's something to keep in mind with the storm. Tropical Storm Laura, potential Hurricane Laura. But anyways, for Laura and Marco, with them being on top of each other, making landfall, back-to-back landfall in the same spot, it's double trouble, and that's gonna really accumulate more rain in the same spot. And as I said before, New Orleans is below sea level, and if you have a city below sea level, it's gonna flood really easy. So we're seeing almost 5 inches of rain in the main part of the city of New Orleans. So that will cause some issues for flooding with the storm. Um, so so potentially by tomorrow, tropical storm or the watches could be upgraded to warnings from the two storms. But anyways, I'm actually gonna let's actually go ahead and see what we're seeing. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we're seeing right now in Puerto Rico. And as we can see, we have quite a lot of flash flood warnings in Puerto Rico. So if a flash flood warning is issued, please get to higher grounds. And if you're approaching flooded waters, please turn around and don't drown. That's the thing, big thing. Turn around and don't drown. Pretty sure most of you guys have heard of that. The turn around, don't drown. So please listen to it. If just keep that thought in your head. Turn around and don't drown if you're in a flash flood warning. And if you're approaching flooded waters, keep that in your head. Turn around and don't drown. Anyways, yes, we do have a bunch of flash flood warnings right now in Puerto Rico. One of them is saying between 3 to 6 inches of rain has already fallen. So that's a lot of rain, and there's probably some flash flooding in this area because, again, a lot of rain. So anyways, still seeing the same flash flood warnings that I did see from before. It does look like it is moving out, so that's good news. Kind of the eastern part of Puerto Rico is starting to they already issued a hurricane local statement for the Keys, which is available on alertsweather.gov. Yeah, tropical cyclone statement or hurricane local statement. Those are pretty important. So that's another thing. It basically updates you. Those update you every once in a while to they pretty much update you on what's happening, on what the potentials of things are, like flash flood potential, tornado potential. Another thing, tornadoes. Tornadoes are very potential in tropical storms. So anyways, yes, tornadoes. If a tornado warning is issued, please get underground, get to a shelter, put as many walls in between you and it as possible so you can be protected from flying debris and the tornado itself. The winds, very high winds, can be potential with tornadoes. But anyways, yes. So going back to Puerto Rico here, it looks like that the eastern part of Puerto Rico is coming to the end of it. I think Puerto Rico is really starting to come to an end. Probably the western part here is still seeing quite a bit of effects from Laura, but eastern part is starting to see a relief from the storm. which is fortunate because they do need to see a relief. They've been in it for a long time today, so prayers to anyone in Puerto Rico, please. Really do pray for anyone in Puerto Rico. They also issued the hurricane local statement for the Gulf Coast. Could see that. Good thing they did. Yes, again, they issue them every once in a while to keep you updated on what's going on and what the potentials are. And pretty much they issue them every once in a while if conditions continue to warrant. So that's what that means. When they pretty much do continue to issue them every once in a while if conditions do continue to warrant. But anyways, so looks like that conditions will continue to improve for Puerto Rico as this storm does move out. But Haiti and the Dominican Republic could still be seeing some stuff. Or they could start seeing some stuff soon. I think they already are, because it is moving into their area now. Exactly. For the day in Isaias, I got the tropical cyclone statement for like 48 hours before impact. Yes. So did I. I did get that as well. I got it the day that Tropical Storm Watch was in effect. And for Faye. I was not in Faye, but I was in Isaias. I think all of the East Coast was in that. Or most of the East Coast, anyway, was impacted from that storm. And thankfully, we are not seeing anything going up the coast at the moment, but don't take it as a guarantee because something could form and go up the East Coast. And that would not be great news. There is still a bunch of recovery going on. They do billions of dollars of damage, and it was only probably shouldn't say only, it was a Cat 1. And it mainly did those damages when it was a tropical storm. So, thing is, tropical storms can be very dangerous. Don't see a tropical storm and just go, oh, it's just only a tropical storm. Here's the thing: they can be dangerous, very dangerous. And the winds, 60-mile-an-hour sustained winds, that's a lot. That is a lot of winds. Let me check Weather Underground site for if they sent out the 8 p.m. advisory. Alrighty. Always good to keep track with alerts. Please do that, guys. Please do it. And again, if they tell you to evacuate because there's a reason why they tell you to do it. I know you wouldn't want to do it, but it would be better for you to do it. Better to be safe than sorry. That's the thing. Be safe than sorry, please. Major factor with weather. And I mean, anyways, so And also, did say this at the beginning of the stream, but I'll say it again. I will say it again. Please do not take the tracks as a guarantee for lore at the moment, because it is still pretty far out. Well, the first, well, I guess the first 3-day, well, up to here. Okay, I'll take that as kind of, I'm 80% sure about this, but this here, I'm probably about 50% sure about it, and then this I'm probably under that. It could even impact the panhandle, but I'm kind of losing that feeling that it will, and that is because of the high pressure. So this is pretty much going to make it go around the high pressure and just pretty much ride up against it. Marco has 65-mile-an-hour winds right now, so that is close to a Cat 1. That is a that is a strong tropical storm. So that'll probably be a hurricane soon. Yeah, probably by tonight, it'll probably be a hurricane. Laura's at 50 miles an hour. Yeah, Laura is less organized than Marco, but I'm seeing some potential for this one, though. I'm seeing quite a bit of potential for Laura. More potential for Laura than Marco, anyway. And yes, of course, as I did show you guys on this, it does look pretty concerning. Of course, there is Marco. But there's Laura, and look at those. Look at that pressure. That's like nearly major hurricane, or major hurricane status. Well, that's a major hurricane pressure. So, Weather Channel predicts Marco will become hurricane tonight. Yeah, that's reasonable. Very reasonable. With it already being at that strength, 65 mile an hour winds, it's probably still strengthening. It is still strengthening. But it's probably very close to Cat 1 as we speak. So, but anyways, Laura has more potential, though. This one's concerning. This one is concerning. Not a guarantee that it'll be a major hurricane, but it's potential that it could be one. Honestly, it's kind of unlikely that it'll be a major hurricane, but don't take it as a guarantee because it could be one. And yes, it is a little far out for us to know that 100%, but things change. So, yeah, as we're seeing here, it does unfortunately make landfall at like almost the same area. It actually says this one's going to make landfall more west than Marco does. Kind of makes landfall further west, kind of like riding up the Texas and Louisiana border right there, as we see. So huge flood potential with these storms. Very big flood potential. Tornadoes will be possible. All of these storms do produce tornadoes. In the outer rain bands, there is things of severe weather, and those could produce. Or those are the things that could produce tornadoes. So, yeah, that's another thing. Tornadoes. So, but anyways, yeah, very reasonable that they do think that it could develop into a hurricane tonight, because it does look to be strengthening a bit, and it's probably close to one as we speak. 65 mile an hour, those are the winds, with the pressure of 994 millibars, and that's going to keep dropping as it goes into the Gulf of Mexico. So, and this one has potential too, guys. Don't get me wrong, but I do not think that it'll be a major hurricane. It's very slight in my opinion, but it's most likely gonna just stay as it's probably just gonna stay at most of a Cat 1 hurricane. So movement north-northwest at 13 miles an hour, so that's fairly slow. So Monday is the day that it does make landfall, as we're seeing. Well, on the cone track here, it says that it's going to be making landfall on 1 p.m. Monday. The bad news about the tropics right now is that New Orleans could be dealing with 2 storms at possibly the same time. That is very unfortunate, actually, yes. Very unfortunate. Back-to-back storms. I don't think this has ever happened to Louisiana in probably a very long time. They got recovered from Katrina, but I mean, still, this can do damage, and it could be pretty bad news. Lots of rain will probably fall, and there will be a lot of flash flooding if that's the case. 2 tropical systems back to back like that will cause double trouble in the same area. And yeah, it's very unusual to see 2 tropical systems in the Gulf at the same time. As I heard, since 1993 was the last time this has happened. And it's gonna happen. And you're probably wondering, this year can't stop. You're right, it can't stop. It's just crazy. we go from a huge tornado outbreak to like 8 derechos to a fire tornado. And now we're seeing the most active hurricane season on record. It's not gonna stop. So anyways, but anyways, I will probably do coverage for another 10 minutes and then I will end it, and I will do some coverage tomorrow at probably the same time. So please, please, stay tuned. We are probably going to go live tomorrow. Probably do the same thing that we're doing today. And hopefully we will have more information about this because it is closer to making landfall in Louisiana by tomorrow. And then Monday is the day that it does make landfall. So I'll probably do live coverage that day as well. So I'll just go ahead and review the things again just so you guys can keep these in mind. As we're seeing here, tropical storm force wind chances, relatively high chances within the yellows and higher, pretty much 30% and higher. Those are some pretty high chances. And then you got the really high chances, which is like 60% higher. And those people will be seeing tropical storm force winds. 50 knot wind or 58 mile an hour wind potential. This is really strong winds. Some of that part of Louisiana is in the 50%, 58 mile an hour wind speed probability risk. So maybe that little tip there is right there on the 60%. So those are some strong winds. It might not seem like it, but those are some strong winds. Hurricane wind speed probability. We are seeing some of that on the coast of Louisiana. Really, that tip there is seeing it really the most. 30% hurricane force wind risk right there on the tip of the coast there in Louisiana, on the coast. Yeah. And then the 40% wind risk, not on land anywhere, so that is good news. But this could be updated tomorrow, and this could be, well, these could really be a lot higher. So something to keep in mind. Things could be updated by tomorrow. U.S. rainfall potential. Seeing a lot of rain. New Orleans is around here, so you guys are probably going to be seeing around 3 to 4 inches of rain. So that'll cause some flooding. Plus, with Laura, that'll be double. Well, it'll be a double. Let's say that. Um, Peak surge, very dangerous thing. So 2 to 4 foot storm surge all on the coast there of Louisiana and on the eastern part of the coast and Alabama and Mississippi coast. We'll be seeing 3 to 5 foot storm surge, so that is very dangerous. Listen to local officials, evacuate if told to do so, because there is a reason why they tell you to evacuate. So if they tell you to evacuate, please evacuate. So flash flood potential, there is a flash flood potential. 10% slight in the yellow, but things could change and that could be a moderate or even a high potentially. Updates will happen. So and it is kind of the fact that there will be flash flooding, especially with New Orleans below sea level. So that'll cause a lot of flash flooding for the inner city. At around 1 p.m. afternoon, Monday is when it does make landfall as a Cat 1 hurricane. So, hurricane watches are in effect for the Louisiana and Mississippi coast, and for the Alabama coast, we are seeing a tropical storm watch, which means that there is a potential for tropical storm force winds and hurricane force winds in the hurricane watch and for the tropical storm watch. So, tropical storm warning for western Cuba. That means they are seeing tropical storm force winds. Hello, James Shanae. Hope I'm saying your name right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, hello, James. How you doing? Hope you're doing great. If you're in the path of the storm, please stay safe. All prayers are on Louisiana at the moment. We all hope they're going to be safe, as there is a storm coming their way. So yes, prayers to anyone in the path of the storm. And I will probably be ending the stream here. If you would like to go back and look over the stream again, please do that. Keep everything in mind. And I will be doing a stream at the same time tomorrow, keeping you guys updated for the storm, because landfall is upon Louisiana on Monday. I'm in trouble. Well, please stay safe, James. All prayers are to Louisiana right now. I am praying for Louisiana at the moment. How about Mississippi? Mississippi is in the path of it. It's mainly the southwestern part that's going to see most of the impacts. The coast is in a hurricane watch. Those could potentially be upgraded to a hurricane warning by tomorrow, potentially. But the upper part is not in really much. They could be seeing the outer rain bands, so that'll be a big threat for severe weather So I'm the northeastern part. Yeah. He's in the northeastern part, Fish Gang. So you could be seeing some severe weather from the storm. Um, Tornadoes will be possible with those severe weather parts. So if you're in a tornado warning, please seek shelter immediately. Put as many walls in between you and it as possible to protect you from flying debris and the tornado itself, because tornado itself is dangerous. All those winds, can be very dangerous. Um, there could be potential uh, hurricane local statement for that part that you're in, James. So keep up to date with that, and check in with those every once in a while, because they do issue those every once in a while when the conditions do warrant. I get the routine. Um. Anyways, yes. Um. Prayers to everyone in the path of this, and especially Louisiana, getting hit by this, and Laura at almost the same time. Well, back to back is when they're getting it, but so a flooding big potential for this. Unfortunately for New Orleans, as I said, like a lot this stream below sea level, so flooding it'll happen easy for them. Think back to Katrina from 2005. That's what mainly caused all the damage, was all the flooding, because of course New Orleans under sea level, below sea level. So and I'm not saying this is going to be another Katrina. This, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's going to be another Katrina. You shouldn't say that. That's not the thing to say. I'm going to get both of them. Well, if you're in northeastern Mississippi, hopefully you will be alright, but the severe weather part you could get, so yeah, stay safe, James. Please stay safe. Anyways, yeah, as I said, don't. I mean, it's shouldn't say that it's another Katrina, because it's not. Um, we're seeing some potential for Laura, as I showed at the beginning of the stream. Well, more potential for Laura, but it's not guaranteed that it'll become a major. But as we're seeing from the Hurricane Center, it's not going to be a major. So I'm right now leaning it's towards regular hurricane status. So that is what I'm leaning more towards to, is a Cat 1, potential Cat 2. What's good, Felix, so far? Hope you're doing good, man. What's good, sir? What's good? I'm right now doing coverage for what's gonna happen in Louisiana, because they are gonna get 2 landfalls from these hurricanes that's coming up to them. So again, prayers to all of you guys in Louisiana. Keep up to date with local alerts. I'm doing good, my good sir. That is great to hear. I'm doing great as well. Um, Anyway, so tomorrow at around 7 to 7:30, maybe 8, I'll go live again to update you guys for what's going on from these two tropical cyclones. Very rare occurrence, two tropical cyclones in the Gulf at the same time. So here's what we have here for right now, and yeah, I'll probably go ahead and end the stream right now. So stay tuned for tomorrow's stream at 7 to 8. That's when I'll start it anyways. So anyways, stay safe, and I will see you all tomorrow at around 7 to 8 p.m. Peace out, everyone. See you soon. Stay safe.